Alright, today we're going to do simple interest. Here's a simple interest formula. We have I equals P times R times T. I refers to the interest amount. P refers to the principal amount, principal meaning the amount of money, balance, or the original amount. R is our rate, percentage rate. And T is term, which is time. This is usually expressed in years. If you want to do it in months, you would divide it by 12. If you want to do it in quarters, like every 4 months, you divide it by 4, so on and so therefore. So this is the amount, this is the interest formula. You can rearrange this formula to solve for any one of these variables. In order to figure this out, you have to have at least 3 of the variables. So you have to have the P, the R, and the T to solve for I. You have to have the I and the P and the R to solve for T, and so on and so forth. So let's give the example. Let's say the bank, you want to borrow some money from the bank. You want to borrow $1,000 from the bank. And they're going to give you the rate. The rate term is going to be 3%. At 3% for 2 years. So we want to solve this equation for our interest, how much we're going to end up paying the bank in total, or paying the bank in interest. So remember, our formula is I equals P times R times T. So if we know that that's our formula, let's plug them in to see for the variable. You know, this $1,000 is what? This is my principal. So this is my P term. We know the 3% is what? My rate term. And we know that the 2 years is what? The term, my time term. So we can multiply that. So let's multiply 1,000 times my rate, which is 3%. 3% times 2 years. 2. Now, in order to multiply it by a percentage, we have to put it and change it to decimal form. And so what we're going to do is take our 3% and take our pinpoint, move it over 2 spots, 1, 2, and 0.3, and it's going to replace our 3%. So now, if we plug in this in the calculator, I'm going to take our clear out and punch in 1,000 times 0.03 times 2. All that together gets me 60. This equals 60. $60. That's how much we'll pay in interest. Is that the answer? No, it's not. That's how much the interest payment is. The total amount would be our original amount, our principal amount, which is $1,000, plus the interest amount, which is 60, gives us our total, which is going to be 1,060, 1060. And that's how we're going to do simple interest, solving for the term. We have $2,000 at 5% for 4 years. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. So we're going to give us label our term. So this is my original amount or principal. This is my rate, my R, and this is my term, time. Set up the same way. We're going to do P times R times T, which gives us our interest. So I'm going to take 2,000, get 5%. We want to make this into a decimal, so I'll take my 5, 1 space, 2 space. It's going to be a dot here and a 0, so it's going to be 0.05 times 4 years. 4. So you're going to plug it into the calculator. You can do it by yourself on paper. 2,000 times 0.05 times 4. The answer is going to be 400. borrow $2,000 at 5% interest, I will pay $400 in interest for that whole 4 years. So $400 is the interest amount. Now, with this amount right here, with this number here, if I want to figure out how much I pay each year in interest, I would just take this number and divide it by my amount of years. So in this case, I have $400 in interest for 4 years, so I can take 400 divided by 4. This will leave me with 100. So my interest would be $100 per year in interest. This is how we can do simple interest and break it down and pay me further. And if I want to go into months, I can divide this number by 12